Hey, welcome into the shop. So this may end up being a multi-night project. I'm getting a little bit of a late start. I was watching Silver and Gold Stack Attack and My Silver Journey tonight on Stacker's Corner and ended up doing really well in the trivia. If you haven't joined them on Wednesday night, come check that show out. It's a pretty good time. They do a trivia game and everyone's learning something. But I had planned to do some pouring tonight, and a couple of my open molds that I've sold recently on Pure Metals. So I'm going to pour another sleeper and another dragonfly, and I have a few new ones I'm going to try pouring here. One that I had printed for Humble Stacker, and he asked me if I could go ahead and try and pour it for him. So I'm going to do that. And have one for that I'm going to be doing for Emperor Wang. And I'll give him a preview of the back of the bar. But we'll hold off on showing the front of the bar. And then another one that's going to be a 4-panel if the first one turns out well. And we'll see how this one pours. So it's a 50 millimeter by 50 millimeter panel. I think it should be probably right around 1.5 ounces or so. We'll see how it pours, and if it pours okay, then I'll go ahead and print the other 3 panels. But y'all should know who that is. So we're going to give that a try. And I'm also going to do one of the Cursed Pirate Treasure coins with this on the back as a pour, just to see how it goes in silver. I tried to pour it in copper and it didn't really work out too well, but that'll be the pours. I don't know if I'm going to get everything done tonight. And if I get all 6 pours done tonight, I probably won't get them all cleaned up tonight. So this video will probably come out a bit later, but I'll be back later when we have our first mold set up and we're ready to pour. Well, they're just about there. There they go. All right, here we go. Get these out of here and we'll see how they come out, whether I want to reset the molds or if we can go on to a different mold. All right, well, the back of that one looks like it came out okay. And that's all we'll get to see of this one. one looked like it came out pretty good. I think I decided against trying to do 6 tonight. I have to redo one of these molds already, so I'm already running behind, and I don't think I think I was too ambitious. So I think for tonight I'm just going to do these 2, but these are the 2 I promised that I'd work on for community members, so wanted to get them kind of done tonight. So we had one for humble stacker here. I think it will clean up pretty nicely. Looks like it may have had a little bit of trouble filling right here at the end. That is the thick end. But we'll see. I can probably get that to come out. There's just a little bit of pitting up here at the top. I think overall it came out pretty good. And it looks like the bleed bar had kind of a similar issue. Let me see. So I'll have to take off a little bit of this to level it off. Other than that, it looked like it turned out pretty good. You'll have to take my word for it. The front of it looks pretty good too. So I'll go scrub those up and we'll work on finishing them. All right, so 9 o'clock. For sure, these are going to be the only 2 bars I get done tonight. You'll have to take my word on the front of this one. It turned out pretty good. See, it has one little sag on each side there. But other than that, the front doesn't really show the sag too much. So it turned out really pretty good. And Humble's bar, you know, I printed this originally for him, so I didn't have my symbol on the back, so I went ahead and poured it that same way. I'll give it a stamp there though, but I think it turned out pretty good with the lettering on the lighthouse. We'll see how he likes it. And I had just enough silver in the crucible left over that I poured a silver tree of life. So it turned out pretty chunky. This is probably going to be close to 2 ounces, I would guess. Has some really subtle pour lines on the back, but would make a really terrific pocket piece. So next stop is toning. I told Nash at Pure Metals, he was asking how I toned my silver. So I told him the next time I poured, I'd actually show that process. So that's the next step, is toning this stuff up. All right, so what we're using is this liver of sulfur. Get it to focus well here. And this stuff, it only takes a drop or two. You can see I'm not using very much. Little goes a long ways with this stuff. And I got some super hot water right out of the Keurig. It just came out. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit in there. I just want enough to cover stuff. And then we're gonna drop the bar right into it. And you'll see it tones almost immediately. And then it's all about what you're shooting for. You know, you can stop with like a kind of an antique-y look. While that one's rinsing, we'll drop the Tree of Life in there. So you can kind of see what you get. And then the other step is we have just a little bit of a synthetic steel wool. It's not real steel wool. But I like to you just kind of lightly go over it. And I kind of use a corner if I'm trying to pull out letters. Use a corner to go over just the letters, kind of. Give the back just a light. And actually, I probably should have stamped this one first. But we'll check with Humble and see how he likes toning. So this one's kind of interesting. And you're not going to get to see the front of this bar. So the heat makes a difference. The hotter the water, the better it tones. And you can't really control, well, I've not figured out how to really control colors. So if you get colors, that's awesome. If you don't get colors, well, you can try again. So some nights it's like it comes out, everything's coming out colorful. Other nights it's like, well, everything's coming out silvers and grays. But sometimes that's fine. Actually kind of like that in the silver and gray. And this got some color on the back. And you all are going to have to go away for a second. All right, so we're back. So I'm kind of going to redo the Tree of Life. I think these two bars turned out pretty good. So we have Humple's bar. And the light in here is really yellow. I'll take it up into the studio where I have more bright white. And I think the Believe bar turned out pretty good too. You have to take my word for it on the front. I think my water's gotten too cold. So we'll be right back with some hotter water. Okay, we got more hot water in there. I was really hoping that we'd see some dark oranges and reds, kind of like a fall. There we are going. I'm actually seeing, looks like some purples, some blues starting. I just don't want to leave it too long, otherwise it'll come out black. Oh, that kind of turned out really kind of pretty. All right, so we'll move these to a side. We'll just lightly brush the tree. Well, that's taken a bit too much off. It's a fine line. There, just dipping it back in just a little, and we're getting kind of a golden bronzish hue there in the tree while keeping the colors. Yeah, I think I like that. I think that's what we'll go with. All right, I'll dry this stuff up and be back in the studio. All right, I'm back up in studio, and we'll get our scale out here. Okay, so there we're on ounce troy. So here is Humble's bar. Kind of has some bronzy, bluish grays. I think it actually turned out looking pretty good. And if I weigh it, comes in at 1.808, so almost 2 ounces, 1.8 we'll call it. And here is Emperor Wang's bar. And again, I can't show you the front yet. We'll give it away. 2.167. So 2.16 is what we'll call it. And here is the Tree of Life, which I think turned out looking really kind of cool. We'll see if the colors hold. Sometimes I've had trouble getting the colors to hold on it. You can see this channel around here. It kind of had some of those bright blues, but it's kind of mellowed or muted over time. But I thought that this turned out looking really pretty nice, and the blue and stuff on the back really kind of brings out the muted pore rings. I thought that turned out Looking good though. That extra dip at the end kind of added the colors that we're seeing up there through the branches. Anyway, so that one is also available. This one was not for anyone specific. It's just extra silver I had, so I did pour it. Oh, let's weigh it. Oh, wow. So that's almost 2.5 ounces. Just a hair under 2.496. So really just a hair under 2.5 ounces. So if anybody fancies a 2.5 ounce pocket piece, let me know. If I don't hear from anybody directly, I'll be sticking it up onto Pure Metals. This bar has sold. So I will be, this one's an open mintage, so I will be pouring another one of these. But that one will be finding a new home. I need to find out color of case they want and get that printed off. And I'll wait for Humble for you to comment on the toning there. And then I'll be sending an email to Emperor Wang about the other bar. And take it from there. So thanks for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed the process and the toning process, taking a close look at kind of what I do with the toning. You can see on the Emperor Wang's bar, so where Humble got really kind of the orangish, bronzish colors, Emperor Wang's kind of got the greenish blue look to it, which carries over onto the front. There's a couple patches of deeper blue, a little bit of purple. The front is really interesting looking. So I hope he enjoys that. Anyways, that'll be it for today. I always appreciate your subscriptions and your comments below. Let me know what you think of what you could see of the bars, and I will catch you in the next one.